What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P. We are back here once again, and you already know what time it is. And the chat is all a tizzy and all a flutter already. And we're gonna get to you guys before I get into anything. But we got to do the intro because branding. One thing's for certain, and three things are for sure. When you see me in front of your TV, number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats, not none of that static. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. Want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. You may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. I'll tell you. I don't like to keep information from you. I like to give it all to you. Pause. And subscribe, smash like buttons, and share it with your peoples. You see, I just did it out of order. It doesn't matter which order you do it in, because once you've done those things, you have indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. And speaking of your peoples, because sharing is caring. Once you've shared this stream with your mothers, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, your brothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your brothers, because you name it. You name it. You have indeed cared about those people. We got some things to get into today. And I don't know if everybody has synced it, but we'll get right into it. And then I'll play the audio because your favorite receiver's favorite receiver had some things to say about the Detroit Lions fans, and we'll react to it. But as I said, the chat is doing what they're doing, so we're going to get to the chat first, knock that out, and then we'll have the reactions to it. All right. So day trois quoi. What up, though? Says, I'm probably not going to be able to catch this live, so I wanted to quickly drop in and say long-term Lions fans generally no ball. These new bandwagon fans, much more of a mixed bag. Yeah, I'm not going to read that one part because I ain't trying to get canceled. Cancel culture is alive and well. He spoke nothing but facts. Says Mr. Who's this? Myrie Derrick, 1977. What up, though? Big Atcha. The Big Atcha says, truth, nobody knew Ben Johnson. Fans screamed about drafting an RB at number 12. Some of those fans don't know football. I got you. What up, though? Tactical Sport. What up, though? Zach J. Solid dude. So let's see. All right. So that's the next conversation. Okay. So in case y'all didn't hear it, and I know everybody doesn't watch the St. Brown Brothers podcast, and you know what? Truth be told, I haven't watched the St. Brown Brothers podcast since we missed the playoffs. I wasn't trying to hear it. All right. So since we moved, I generally watched it every week. I never missed one. But like I said, I would be lying to you if I said, during the Bear before, I think maybe the last 2 weeks of the season, the Bears game, Steelers game, I didn't watch during those weeks because I just didn't. I was tired of hearing things about we'll get better and we'll fix it and all this other stuff. We're not going to. And we didn't. And then we missed the playoffs. So now here comes the offseason. And there was a very interesting segment. It was about 5 minutes. We're going to break it in half. Not totally in half, but we're going to break it down. Let's see here. I got my workers, they owe me some money now. And talking about, okay, here we go.
Anyways, there's a lot of new hirings and firings going on.
Equanimity.
Let's talk about you guys. You guys hired a new OC, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I didn't know. I was actually kind of getting a little antsy because I see all these coaches getting hired. I'm like, damn, when are the Lions? When are we going to make a move? When are we going to get a coordinator? Because that's all we're really waiting on. And, yesterday, it's actually funny. Yesterday morning, texted Jared. I said,
listen to this.
Quarterback always have to
it's important.
More about hirings than any other position because they're like one of the most important guys that need to know what's going on. So I texted Jared. I was like, what do you think we're going to do? And he said, he doesn't really know yet, but he mentioned, Drew Petzing, and I'm like, oh, I never.
He didn't mention Mike McDaniel. He didn't mention. He said he didn't say, "Hey, I hope it's Mike McDaniel. I don't know what's going on. What's taking him so long to get him in here?" But no, he didn't say that. He mentioned Drew Petzing before anybody else did.
I didn't even know I interviewed him. Like, that's not something that was really being talked about. He said he's with the Cardinals, and he said he's good. Like, he's smart. Although they didn't have the best offense, like he does a lot of good stuff. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I looked him up on Wikipedia. I'm like, I want to know like where he coached, like his background. So he's been actually at a few places. Come to find out, he was actually at Boston College with Ben Johnson, which is crazy. And he was, a groomsman at Ben Johnson's wedding. So that's actually really ironic. But look him up, boom. I'm like, okay. 11 o'clock hits. That was in the morning. Like 11:30 hits. I get a text from Dan. He's like, "Hey, Sam, I just want to let you know, like, we're hiring, Drew Petzing as our OC. He's gonna be great for us. Yada yada yada. Like, I'm excited." I said, "Let's do it. Like, I'm ready." And like an hour later, I just see on Twitter, or I forget, someone tweeted it. One of those guys that tweets everything. We hired, Drew Petzing as our OC. Yada yada yada. I'm like,
okay, so that part where and I've crashed out enough about this situation, so I'm not gonna crash out. But the part where no one's talking about Mike McDaniel in this entire situation, and he texted Jared in the morning, and then at 11:30 in the morning, Dan calls him and tells him, or texts him and tells him they're gonna hire Drew, or Gru Pretzel, as I call him. I got names for everybody. So Gru Pretzel, come on down. I am the nickname man, right? Gru Pretzel, come on down. It was just, it just seemed very fast. I don't know what we're going to do, but there's this guy named Gru Pretzel. Amon-Ra St. Brown says, "Oh, Gru Pretzel? Okay, cool. Let me Wikipedia Gru Pretzel, because I don't know nothing about this man, and I don't know about his existence. Gru Pretzel? Okay. Oh, you went to Boston College with Ben Johnson, or not? You went there. You coached with him. Oh, you were at his wedding. Oh, that's ironic.
Okay, boom, it's the league. Let's go. We got our guy. Bro, I see crazy Lions fans talking crazy, like, oh, why do we do this? Like, bro, do you guys like have no trust in Dan? Like, in the Lions, like, you think they would just hire a random dude? Like, be for real. Like, you think they don't know what they're doing? They don't do their research. They don't interview. Like, most of you guys don't know really much about anything, about any ball.
Wow. Wow.
And you're tweeting about a coach that was hired that you guys don't like because of XYZ. Like, it's just funny to me to see. Don't get me wrong, I love all Lions fans, but they're so quick to make, judgments about who we hired, who we did this. Like, bro, just relax, calm down. Like, let the whole thing play out. Like, you guys just let it play out. Just relax. That's all I gotta say. Relax, man. Relax.
Do you not trust Dan? Do you think they don't do their research? They're just gonna hire some random dude. Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Exhibit A is Johnny Moe. You just fired the man after hiring him last offseason and removing his play calling duties in week number 10, right? Week number 10, Dan Campbell took over play calling duties and had Johnny Moe sitting up in the booth playing pinochle with some other offensive assistants because he wasn't doing a damn thing. Amon-Ra St. Brown, do you recall a man named Anthony Lynn, who Dan Campbell hired and took away his play calling duties? I don't remember what point in the season, but he took away his play calling duties and fired him after the season. That guy? Oh, do you remember that Ben Johnson at that time was Ben Johnson. The artist formerly known as Ben Johnson, he's now Osama Ben Johnson, was not hired by Dan Campbell. He was hired by one Matt Patricia. And in this situation, as Anthony Lynn had his stuff taken away from him, play calling duties, and was in the process of being fired, Ben Johnson, the artist formerly known as Ben Johnson, came up to Dan Campbell with a play he had drawn up. And Dan Campbell said, interesting. That's a nice play. Maybe this guy can call plays. Had the artist formerly known as Ben Johnson not simply taken his shot, because that's all he did. He shot his shot. And Dan Campbell gave him the opportunity after he shot his shot. Right? I'm gonna tell you, why am I saying shoot your shot? Check it. You in the club, whatever, wherever you are, you on Instagram, whatever, wherever you are. Right? I say the club because you guys know that you're in the same building, even if she doesn't know that you're in the same building. On Instagram, everybody is there. So we say you in the club or wherever you go and frequent to meet women, and you see this beautiful woman, right? She's not checking for you. She's not checking for you. She may have seen you passing around and, walking around because you walked around, you've been contemplating shooting your shot for the last hour that you've been in there. So you done brushed up against her. You done did all types of stuff to just try to get her to notice you. So she's seen that you're there, but she's not checking for you. And then you shoot your shot. And then once you shoot your shot, she goes, all right, I'm going to get this dude a chance. That's what happened with Osama bin Johnson. He shot his shot after being in the building for the entire time. Anthony Lynn came in. My man was in the building. Anthony Lynn got his thing, his play calling duty stripped from him. My man was in the building still, walking around in front of Dan Campbell like, hey, man, notice me. Acknowledge me, right? Anthony Lynn gets fired, and then he like, man, I got to shoot my shot, man. He wasn't on the radar. He had to shoot his shot. So do we trust that to hire the right guy? No. He's never done it. He's had 2 hires and a promotion. His 2 hires for offensive coordinator sucked and got fired. Both of them in the same way. They started out the year, they sucked. Then eventually you stripped their play calling duties. Then eventually you fired them. It's the same. Osama bin Johnson was a promotion from a guy that was hired by Fatty Matty Patty. You knew him. You had prior relationship with him from Miami, Dan Campbell. You didn't come in here and be like, oh, Ben's on the staff? Well, shoot, that's our offensive coordinator right there. Goddamn. I'm ready for Freddie. Goddamn. No, you didn't do that. That's not what you did when you came in here. You came in here and you brought Anthony Lynn because he was your best buddy. He was your friend. He's your pal. I'm in Ross A. Brown. No, I'm sorry. We don't trust Dan to hire the right offensive coordinator. He's never done it. Okay? Now, as far as defensive coordinators, I like AG more than a lot of people did. But you know what? There were certain things about AG, his stubbornness, his refusal to use a spy. And then along comes a spider and sat down beside her, and his name was Kelvin Shepard. And Kelvin Shepard did some good things. He used a spy. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I think spies are cool. Let's use a spy. And there was some success and there was some failure, but ultimately it was a failure. Now, there were things that we have to look at with Kelvin Shepard. Why was Kelvin Shepard playing Aleem McNeil and Tyus Lacey, who were clearly defensive tackles, at defensive end? That was silly, right? Well, maybe he did that because he wasn't given an actual defensive end outside of El-Quadin Muhammad. I'm talking about opposite Hutch, of course. We don't need to mention Hutch here. Oh, Marcus Davenport? Yeah, I can do a lot with him in the 5 games that he's going to play this season. And then he's going to be playing just to get hurt or just to not get hurt. Yeah, so now I've got to move guys who are interior defensive tackles, and I got to put them on the exterior as edge rushers. That didn't work out too well. Nobody was getting sacks. Tyus Lacey may have gotten 1 or 2 the whole season. I don't think Aleem McNeil sniffed a sack from the outside. And then you've got a general manager who wants to sit up here and tell you he's going to do the same exact thing, going to take the same exact approach for the edge rusher position. I saw someone they mentioned that in some mock draft in the first round, the Lions took the edge rusher from Texas Tech. I wanted to laugh. Because whoever's doing these mock drafts is not, he doesn't know Brad Holmes. He doesn't know that Brad Holmes hates edge rushers. He doesn't know that. He loves defensive tackles. He hates edge rushers. He hates them. The only reason we got Aiden Hutchinson is because he fell to us. So no, Amon-Ra, we don't trust the hiring. All right, what was the next part?
But Drew actually called me. He called me yesterday at like 2:30. I didn't have his number saved. So like for me, random calls, they go straight to like voicemail. I see like 2 calls that said went to voicemail. I'm like, damn. And then like, I don't know, with the Apple new feature, it like tells you their name underneath some calls. Like it'll tell you their name of like who it is. And I saw it says name. I was like, oh damn. So I called him back. And basically he just wanted to, say what's up to me. He told me he's excited. I told him, I'm excited too. Let's get to work. And he would just catch up, small talk, and then that was it. He just wanted to check in and introduce himself. So I appreciate him for that. And honestly, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great for us. I think, I trust Dan. I trust all the decision makers for the Lions. I think they do a great job. So I'm excited for him.
Amon-Ra is a man who got paid $120 million. He got a contract that says that the Detroit Lions owe him $120 million for his services. Of course, he trusts the decision makers. He trusts everybody. But to not understand that the fans can watch what just happened with you. You were excited about Johnny Moe, and Johnny Moe was excited too. Johnny Moe was excited to use J-Mo. Turns out he didn't know how to do that. Okay? He was excited to use J-Mo. Turns out he didn't know how to do that. I'm excited to fly a helicopter. Turns out I don't know how to do that. I'm excited to fly a plane. Turns out I don't know how to do that.
Well, it's good to hear, man. I'm glad you're excited for that. Hopefully he's gonna be better next year than this year.
Did you know anything about the hiring? Like, did you just find out
I just found out
just now?
Yeah, just now.
Are you on like social media? Do you see shit like that?
I mean, I don't really have Twitter or stuff, but like that's where you would get all the information. So like on my Instagram and TikTok, I'm not seeing hirings, you know, like especially not like OC positions. But it's good to hear. I'm glad for you guys. You know, I'm happy for you guys. Hopefully it works out. Like I said, I feel like that's what you guys need is an OC and a DC because I feel like you guys lost two of them, two good ones, and I feel like that really hurt you guys this year because you guys have a good team.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? I feel like that's what you guys needed. You guys needed an OC and a DC because you lost two good ones. Hey, Agronymous, we have a defensive coordinator. What do you mean? What do you mean? Look, most of this conversation, after you've dumped on the fans, right before and right after you dump on the fans, is a bunch of, I don't know who this guy is. This is the fans' reaction. That's why the reaction was there, because we don't know who he is. And we knew a guy named Mike McDaniel. Everybody knew who he was. That's the point. That's the point of all of this, Amon Ra. You sit up here talking about the fans don't know ball. A lot of y'all don't know ball. I have one of the best chats because a lot of y'all know ball. And then we get every now and then we get the person that comes in here and doesn't know ball and says some dumbish. And then I crash out. And then they leave. Right? But the regulars here, no ball. And I'm very grateful for that, which is why I crash out when I get someone in here saying stupid crap. Like, hey, be grateful for the team that you have. They've won so much. You know, they've won so many Super Bowls. Our cup runneth over with Lombardies. I've gotten that sometimes. But let me get to y'all's comments because I know everybody is weighing in on this. Fans don't know football sounds funny coming from someone sitting at home in January. Oh, shots fired. It said, oh, we saved it. Well, I was told that Johnny Moe was the guy last year, and we all know how that turned out. Facts. Facts, no lies detected. Fans knew you needed an edge for the last 2 years, though. Facts, no lies detected. We also knew about Davenport, and we all know how that turned out. Facts, no lies detected. A lot of facts, a lot of facts. A lot of facts. Congratulations, Ron Winarski. He says, my Bears are back to rebuilding. Oh, what little faith ye have. Oh, ye of little faith. He said, you think Dan would hire some random dude after he had to look him up himself? Facts, big facts. Love Amon-Ra St. Brown on the field, but don't tell me to chill after 66 years with one Super Bowl appearance. Without one Super Bowl appearance. Facts, Brent DeWitt. Facts. Y'all are cooking. So for hiring coordinators, he's batting 500% so far. That could improve, but for now he's 500%. That's not very good and doesn't warrant unconditional trust. Facts. Lions fans 10, Amon-Ra's ass up. Big facts, K. I bet Jim Harbaugh didn't think McDaniels was a good fit, but he knew he could put points on the board for a year and move on. Facts, big facts. So many facts here. We know ball, and we ain't seen any good ball since 1957. So I wouldn't say that now. Come on, we done seen good ball. I mean, we did go to the NFC Championship game a couple years ago. I get, we haven't seen the ball, right? The Super Bowl ball that we're looking for. But good ball, we've seen it here and there. What up to Irv Gotti? He said, "Did you see that St. Brown Bush?" But yeah, that's what we was doing. He said, "Keep that politically correct crap to yourself. Lions fans deserve more, or we can keep our asses home." Facts. The whole city of Detroit lighting his ass up. And his brother talk a lot of ish about Detroit too. His brother didn't do anything. I know he's guilty by association, but he didn't do anything here, especially here. He trolls a lot. Bad move to insult the fans like that. It was a little bit insulting. Well, he learned from Brad Holmes. He learned this from Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes will sit there and insult your intelligence and call you a moron and tell you don't know ball and keep receipts about winning nothing. Right? And we're going to get into some other things that, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. You don't know foosball. Foosball is the devil. If you all don't want the fans to have an opinion, then you all should come out and say truthfully why you make the decisions you make, because it all seems random and placed in a hat. Facts. Herb Gotti cooking them. After Bears and all right. Now, there has been some speculation going on around today. It's not really speculation. It is another misguided article by a national syndicate, right? The worldwide leader, they call themselves, and they put out an article that said that in order to save $18 million of cap space, the Lions will cut Taylor Decker. And then they gave all these stats as to why they will cut Taylor Decker. And I have to say, poppycock, Boulder Dash. Lies, I say lies, not facts. We've been spitting facts all day, and these are lies. The Detroit Lions will not cut Taylor Decker to save $18 million. He will retire, and they will save $21 million if he is not playing for the Detroit Lions next season. Listen, so far, okay? So far, Brad Holmes in the trenches has a terrible track record. He's hit on Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson. One for each line. Alim McNeill, he was a hit. And because he wasn't an injury-prone player in college, I'm not going to put that bar on him, okay? So let's say two. Two on the defensive line and one on the offensive line. That's atrocious. For you to he's spent how many draft picks, guys? How many draft picks has Brad Holmes spent on the offensive line? We said this before. Before Tate Ratledge, okay? And I'll say tentatively Tate Ratledge was a hit. Okay? So in 5 years, you got 4 linemen who are worth a damn. Make that make sense. In 5 years, you got 4 linemen who are worth a damn. 2 of them are all-pro superstars. One on each line, Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson. One of them is a rookie who was a rookie last year, but he looks promising. He looks like he's going to be good, but then you're also talking about moving him to center and hoping for the best. The other guy, Alim McNeill, is working on getting into the also-coveted injury-prone player category that Brad Holmes loves so much. Why would you then cut a Taylor Decker who has to take time away from football and time to let his body heal before he decides that he wants to come back and play football. Now, here's what they need to do. Here's what they need to do before free agency. They need to get assurances and reassurances from Taylor Decker about his plans. I understand Taylor Decker is a human. I understand he's a father. I understand he's a husband. I understand that his life beyond football is more important to him. His ability to be a husband and a father is more important to him than doing what he has to do to get on the field. He said that. That's fine. And that's your choice. And no one is going to begrudge you for your choice. But you must let the Lions know before free agency. You must let them know, because you know who didn't let them know? Frank Ragnow. However, there were breadcrumbs. And Frank Ragnow was in conversations with people like Taylor Decker and Panay Sewell. And he was talking about retirement. He was mulling it over and all these other things. So Brad Holmes dropped the ball on that. So to prevent from Brad Holmes dropping the ball again, we need Taylor Decker to come out and say, I'm playing next year, or I'm not going to be back. I'm going to retire. And if I want to unretire later on in the season when I feel fine, like Frank Ragnow did, cool, great. Welcome back, Taylor. A completely healthy Taylor for a playoff push. Awesome. Fantastic. But your replacement is already there. You can play in a reserve role. Why not? Why shouldn't we expect this from Taylor Decker? Bruh, if you're not feeling 100%, like you can do another season, like you can do the off season, like you can do training camp and all this and rehab and all. If you're not feeling like you can do that, retire, bro. I'm not mad at you because you're going to free up $21 million on the cap. I'm not mad at you, bro. And nobody on the Lions and the Lions fan, nobody should be mad at him. But don't drag it out and then retire after the draft. Don't do that. And I'm not even killing Frank for doing that, because the dumbest thing that happened was for Brad Holmes to come out and tell you there were breadcrumbs. The dumbest thing that Brad Holmes could say is that, yeah, there was knowledge that he was considering retiring, but we just ignored it. And we didn't have a contingency plan. That was dumb. And that's what Brad did. Because a reporter asked him, when did you know that Frank Ragnow was going to retire? Oh, after the draft when he retired. But there were breadcrumbs. You just told us that you knew he was going to retire, bro. What breadcrumbs? He was leaving a trail. A trail, you say? He was off to the witch's house in Hansel and Gretel, and he was leaving a trail so he wouldn't get lost. Is that what you're saying? And then who came behind him and picked up the trail of breadcrumbs? Who saw him? Surely Brad Holmes did not see the breadcrumbs. Why would he have seen them? That's not like his job or anything to have his finger on the pulse of the roster that he's responsible for building. No, that wasn't Brad Holmes' job at all. So Taylor Decker, what I need from you is to let Brad know explicitly, I am coming back, Brad, or I am not coming back, Brad. I am going to retire. So you need to go ahead and get my replacement. If I decide to come back later on in the season, you guys have my rights. I will come right back. But right now, Brad, I can't do it. I can't deal with the grueling season. I can't do it. Can't do training camp. I can't do the off season. I can't do it. My body just says no. My mind's telling me no, but my body, I'm sorry. It's got to be the other way around. My body's telling me no, but my mind is telling me yeah. I don't see nothing wrong. with retiring right now. Retire. I don't see nothing wrong. Do it, Taylor. But you gotta let Brad know. Let me get to your comments and see what we got going on. All right. So it says, but like Derek said, you can't tell a Detroit fan to relax. I've seen Lions fans relax and die and still haven't seen a Super Bowl. Here's what I've seen with the relaxing of the fans. Those are the guys that ride around with trust in Brad We Trust bumper stickers. Those are the guys that are on Twitter. Okay? I'm not going to tell you where this came from. I'm not going to tell you where the account. Okay? Let me see if I can find it. God damn. Oh, Joy Taylor. Joy, joy, joy. Joy to the world. Anyway, let's see. All right. Okay, here's one thing that I will read is in Justin Rogers pushes back on the notion that Drew Petzing can't utilize wide receivers. He says, I just don't think Marvin Harrison is that good. How many of you have heard of Michael Wilson before this year? Dude had 1,000 yards. Do you think he holds up to Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jameson Williams when you're game planning? Get out of here. It's such a stupid argument. Great. Marvin Harrison isn't developing to be the guy they drafted him to be. Turns out maybe he's just not that good. All right. That was this thing. I could just look up my own response to this. This guy tweets way too much. He tweets way too much, bro. Lord have mercy. All right. Anyway, basically the point was this. The point was that he's out there with basically the same rhetoric as Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was pretty much the same thing. And the point is, that's what happens when the fans relax, when they will fall for anything. Listen, I crashed out about Drew Pretzel. Okay, because the Petzing thing is not clicking in my head. That I keep putting an R in there, Pretzig, Pertzig. I keep doing that. So he's Gru Pretzel. Okay, even if he does well, he's gonna be Gru Pretzel. So listen. I hope it works out. My initial reaction is that he's trash. Why? Because of Anthony Lynn and Johnny Morton, and he was fired by the Cardinals, and their offense wasn't that great when he was there, and the fans in Arizona hated him. That's what I based it on. And the fact, above all, everything else, you hired him over the dream candidate that was right there in Mike McDaniel. And the fact that Mike McDaniel is not a good fit is crazy to me when he had the number 4 rushing offense. It's crazy that you want to run the ball first. You want to establish the run to open up the pass with play action, which is exactly what Mike McDaniel did in Miami. The fact that he was the run game coordinator for Kyle Shanahan before, not the passing game, the running game coordinator for Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers before getting hired as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. This is why people are crashing out over this Drew Pretzel hire. That's exactly why. There's no other reason, guys. Dan Campbell has a poor track record in hiring coordinators, especially offensive ones. Right? And you had the guy sitting there. I told y'all before. I said if we get anybody other than Mike McDaniel, I'm going to be upset. And true to my word, I was upset. And maybe he chose Justin Herbert and Los Angeles over Jared Goff in Detroit. Maybe it was the weather. I don't know. But if it wasn't Mike McDaniel, if it was Mike McDaniel who chose to go a different direction, you needed to say that. You didn't need to come out and say it wasn't a fit. You didn't need to let that information get out. You needed to let us know, hey, man, we threw the bag at Mike McDaniel. He just didn't want to come here. You know? That's it. Look, give us a little bit. Guys, give us a little bit. I mean, Brad Holmes is so goddamn clandestine and freaking close to the vest. It's infuriating. Like every move he's about to make is some top secret service. He's got to have a briefcase that's freaking handcuffed to somebody's wrist, and he's got to have a freaking security detail to carry this move that he's thinking about from one hallway to the next. Across the hallway, I'm from this room and I got to go to that room. Bring the security detail. Right? And then we find out later what the stuff was about. And it doesn't make any more sense than that. Zadarius Smith was about disrespect. That's all that was about. And then he went somewhere else that he didn't want to be and he retired. You got to give us something, bro. And then we won't have these types of reactions. That's the problem. You don't give us anything. You want to keep everything so close to the vest, and so many other people make so many better moves than you. We couldn't get Danielle Hunter. Well, Houston could. Yeah, because he wanted to go home. That's great. He gave him a hometown discount. I mean, we couldn't get anybody. We tried to do this. We tried to do that. We couldn't get James Pierce because we sat there and took Tyleik Williams. That's we couldn't do. We couldn't do everything else. We tried. We tried. Maybe that's why he's drafting project picks in the third round, because he feels like someone else is going to steal him first. I don't know. Amon-Ra also needs to be checked about the side comments he was making about Detroit on his last episode. I didn't see the last one. Like I said, I stopped watching the podcast because I was tired of hearing the same rhetoric and the same excuses. You know? Yeah, we ain't cutting Decker. Even if he wants to be on the team, he will be. He has earned that. Maybe we get a replacement for him, but if he wants to be on the team, he will be. Facts. Decker has been a gladiator for this team. No damn way we just cut him. Just got a notification from Channel 7 Detroit highlighting Amon-Ra St. Brown and his comments about the fans. LOL, interesting timing. ah. Unity. Oh my God. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Regardless of what Decker's plans are, he can't stay healthy. So we still need to have a plan for OT. We definitely need to have a plan for OT. We definitely do. Melvin needs to read the breadcrumbs this time and have a plan for if he plans to retire. That's why I said he needs to tell him, not read the breadcrumbs. Tell him. Tell him. But what if the Cardinal fans don't know ball? That's true, man. That's true. They must not. Not encouraging when Cardinals fans are laughing, saying predictable and stagnant. Right. Just relax, people. Dan will be calling the plays next year in week 6 or 7. The whole relax thing was the wrong choice of words thing for me. My brother died having never seen a Lions playoff win, let alone a Super Bowl. He was found the night we beat the Rams. That's terrible, Tactical Sport. I hope you are doing okay. I know ball and they itch. Maybe you need to get a cream for that or just take a shower. So no, I won't relax. I demand better. Facts. Big facts. All right. You know what it is. I have some updates. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they read and you cynics, mailbag? Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right. So the updates are the progress to the mock draft app. By the end of today, all 850 prospects should be available to be drafted. I'm also putting in a special feature, and I guess I'll tell you guys the feature to get you guys excited and hyped. I'm putting in a GM mode that is going to allow you to not only draft players, but is going to allow you to sign free agents. So your free agency period starts whenever you want. So the free agency will be updated, list of available free agents and all that stuff. So when you go and make your draft picks, you will have more informed choices that you're making, right? So whoever is a free agent, you want to sign them, and you'll have the salary cap and all this other stuff, and then you will be able to go into your draft. So it'll be the most interactive mock drafting platform that you have ever used. Again, there will be a general manager mode that you will start in free agency if you want to do this, right? You will start in the free agency, and then you will go to the draft in order to build your ultimate roster for your Detroit Lions, and obviously for other people and the teams that they follow. So that is going to be there. I'm not sure how long that will take, but that is the goal. I do have my goal is to have everything done by the end of the Super Bowl so that we can roll into mock draft season. All right. Hey, at least Amon-Ra St. Brown was defending his coach's decision. If he was talking doubtful or throwing shade at MCDC, I'd be worried. I don't want to roast him so much. He wants to leave Detroit. Well, here's the thing. You could have defended Dan instead of by just saying, relax, I trust Dan, blah, 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 blah. You didn't have to say that the fans don't know much about anything, much less about ball. So those words that he used there, Dims was fighting words. And that's the problem. And that's why he's getting roasted all over the place. Right? So just like he came out and apologized for something, I don't remember what he apologized for last time, but you need to come out and apologize for this again. Better offensive stats next season: Chargers versus Lions, McDaniel versus Drew. Who? Drew Pretzel. I think the Chargers do. You got Omarion Hampton, who figures to be healthy next season. Quentin Johnson, even though he sucked, right, as a rookie, he's actually taken strides and he's become a better player. Obviously, you got Justin Herbert, who, I'm sorry, is more physically talented than Jared Goff. You know, does he have the mental stuff down like Jared? I don't know. It doesn't seem like he does, but the more physically talented one is him. Fun fact, Justin Herbert could have been a Detroit Lion. However, we drafted Jeffrey Namumbo Ohel Nokuda. So that's what that was because of the win now mandate. Truth be told, if Fatty Matty Patty and Bob Quinn draft Justin Herbert, you may get another year. Not that I wanted to see another year of them, but you know, the win now thing is like, okay, well, we got a quarterback, and then we can trade Matthew Stafford because he wants out anyway. You see what I'm saying? But obviously we didn't want to continue with those two. You know, we already know the Chargers defense is far superior to ours. Far superior to ours. Speaking of defense, Alex Anzalone is open to coming back to the Detroit Lions, so we'll see what happens. But we're talking about offense. I think it's going to be the Chargers. Again, it's cool. He can be passionate about his coach. That is cool. But to tell you that the fans don't know ball, and there's so many instances that we told you, like we mentioned a few earlier. We knew about Marcus Davenport. We knew that was a dumbass hiring. Emmanuel Mosley, we knew that. I'm sorry, not hiring, signing. Emmanuel Mosley, we knew that was a dumbass signing. Right? We had to convince ourselves that Johnny Moe was going to be good. I told the fans, I'm sorry, guys. And I'm not really keeping receipts here, but I'm just telling you. I told y'all about this so-called Egyptian fella. I told y'all. Y'all didn't want to listen. Y'all gave him nicknames. I told y'all that a person telling you that he would die on the field for you does not make him as a Hall of Famer who's going to come in here and have an immediate impact from the 6th round. I told y'all. To this point, he hasn't even lived up to Malcolm Rodriguez and James Houston. I told y'all. I said let him develop because he's only been playing football for 5 years. Let him develop. He needs time. But no. People were telling me, oh, just let people be happy. Be happy about what? What? Be happy about what? What has he done? How many snaps did he play for you? None at all. Be happy about what? What are you supposed to be happy about? I don't know. You tell me. Anyway. Also say Brown should have realized by now that it's always Detroit versus everybody. Coming at the fans like that was always going to be a losing strategy. Facts. Big facts. Big facts. He could have said a lot of things. He could have just said, I think people may be overreacting. Fine. If you tell me I'm overreacting to something, that's not an insult. That's just something what you think I'm doing. You think I'm behaving in a way. You think I'm overreacting. That's fine. That's your opinion. But when you say, hey, you don't know ball, again, it's the same thing that Brad Holmes does all the time. No, it's ignorant. You're ignorant. You're ignorant. Hashtag if you know, use the hashtag. My goodness. Shows a representative of the core of the team, has loyalty to the team, He should have said no comment because he's just a player. Again, I don't have a problem with him sticking up for his coach. I don't have a problem with him loving the hire. I don't have a problem with him agreeing with the hire. I don't have a problem with none of that. My problem is you're telling the fans, and rightfully so for many of the fans, that you don't know ball. Right? You shouldn't have said that. That's the problem. That's what you don't say. Cancel my number 14 jersey order after seeing that number 18 on the way. You see? You see? And that's why you don't tell the fans that they don't know ball. I'm just saying, St. Brown, we don't know ball when he himself had to look up who they hired. Again, all of that whole exchange between him and his brother was about not knowing who this man was. I didn't know Gru Pretzel. I had to go look him up on Wikipedia. And then I found out that he was, Osama bin Johnson's best friend. Okay? And he was like, that was weird. That was ironic. So he's like, bro, we're still chasing Ben? Is that what we're doing? That's what that comment said to me. Right? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord. Loud. Hashtag Michael Jackson of South Park. No, you're ignorant. You're ignorant. That's ignorant. If you're a fan in any way that think Aman is wrong, awesome. Nobody cares if you're bothered by it, let alone players. They don't play for you. They actually do play for us. Yeah, that's actually the reason that they have checks. That's the reason they get money, because the fans pay to watch the games. The fans create the ratings on television, which creates these huge television deals. You, sir, have zero idea what you're talking about. Okay? you have no idea what you're saying. They don't play for you. We're the reason that they have something to play for. If nobody watched the game of football, it wouldn't be a game. It wouldn't be a sport. No. Hell, St. Brown didn't know who he was, and we played against him the year before this one. Facts. You've been on the field with this man and didn't know who he was. You've been on the field with this man and didn't know him. I guarantee you, everybody knew Mike McDaniel, whether you was on y'all knew him because he came to the whatchamacallit, the joint practice. Actually, they don't. Not at all. When you play in high school, college, and even in the pros, nobody plays for the fans, period, grow up. You don't know what you're talking about. You play in high school for the love of the game, college, whatever. When you get to college, you have eyes on the pros. When you get to the pros, you are playing for the fans, because the fans are the ones that pay your salary. Do you not understand the point? The fans are the reason you have a profession. Do you understand the point? The reason that restaurants make money is because people must eat. Are we serious? This is why I crash out, bro. Lord have mercy. Can someone in the chat help this man? Because I can't do it. It's going to be hilarious if the Lions win the Super Bowl with Uncle Fester as the OC. It'll be great. And I hope they do. I hope, and as I said, I hope it goes well. I don't want it to not go well, because if it doesn't go well, then that means it's another year of my life where I have not seen a Super Bowl. That's all. I I want it to go well. I want him to knock it out of the park. I want him to be better than Osama bin Johnson. But guess what? I don't think it will. That's all. So when you react to a hire, you base it on evidence. And the evidence that we have about this guy ain't great, Bob. You just ain't. No different than the government. They get your tax money and do what they want until you organize votes that might say otherwise. It's very different from the government, bro. It's 100% different. Yeah, I've lost my mind. I understand how delusional you are about your importance. Who is this? Is this Artur? Like, what the frick is going on? The fact that the sport is $1 billion business or WNBA level, you are meaningless. Where does the money come from? The money comes from the demand. Listen. This is simple economics. Supply and demand. If there is no demand for football, there is no supply. If there is no supply, the people that are the supply don't make the money. The money comes from the demand. When someone wants a product, it becomes profitable. When someone doesn't want a product, it is not profitable. It needs to be bought out. It needs to be subsidized. It needs to be rescued, like the WNBA. Nobody cares about the WNBA, and the NBA is pushing an agenda that they need to have this, so they keep funneling money into it, even though they're not profitable. People like to watch men play basketball. The NBA is profitable. People like Major League Baseball. It's profitable. I don't like baseball, but does that mean that nobody else does? No. It is a supply and a demand thing. Do you realize what I'm saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? My God, bro. Lord have mercy and cheese. Woo! St. Brown going Hollywood for sure. Listen, bro. Whoever you are, what's your name? Kryptonic. I'm not talking to you anymore, bro. So you feel free, do what you want. I thought the money came from the Ford Motor Company. He thinks it does. Like, really? Bro. Okay, this is proving your point. He says there's 20,000 fans waiting in reserve for season tickets. Your whole point is that if you are mad about Amon-Ra, it matters. No, that's not my point. I never said that. You said they don't play for the fans. I said, yes, they do. Are you serious? Bro, I'm done talking to you, bro. We're not sitting up here moving the goalposts and all this other stuff. I got to go get money, bro. I'm about to be out of here. You do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? If you want to talk from now on, go ahead and send in a super chat. I'm done with you. Hey, the WNBA produces extremely well for every single one of its fans. Big facts, bro. I'm so done. I'm so done with you, bro. Nah, this goalpost moving ass bullcrap is crazy to me. It's crazy. My man said, so how about Brad and him getting the center from Arizona? If he can put in a word for somebody better than freaking Graham Glasgow, He needs to do it, I guess. All right, y'all. As I said, I'm about to get out of here. You see, it's always it's just y'all gotta. I crash out for stupidity, bro. Like when somebody it's just it gets to me. I can't deal with it. I can't handle it. Was at LCA last week for a Pistons game, $6.95 for a bottle of water. And why were you at LCA for a Pistons game? Are you a fan that pays money to get into the game? Do you pay admission and then you buy the high price concessions? Are you serious? Are you actually funding this team, which pays players off of the funds that all of these millions of people put into it? He said, no need to argue with someone who doesn't understand basic supply and demand. Basic, bro. Basic. Not even, we don't even need to get into in too far deep into this. Basic. Somebody wants something, that's a demand. Somebody offers it, that's a supply. Basic. Fans want football. Football supplies football. Hey, Tactical Sport, before I go, can you explain to me why advertising companies and companies in general, Pepsi, all spend millions of dollars to secure a spot for Super Bowl commercials? Is the demand for football that high across the country and across the world that people would spend millions of dollars just for the chance to get in front of all of these fans? Are we? Is that what we're saying? Has the demand been created with this football thing? This dude is Artur, bro. It's Artur. This is Artur. He switched his name. It's Artur. Wild guess here because people watch football. Word, golly! I thought the fans that Amon-Ra St. Brown was talking about were the ones that you press the button and they go like this and they keep you cool. I thought those were the fans he was talking about, or the ones that you do like this with and it keeps you cool. Yeah. Now I had no idea he was talking about people who have been watching football for over a century. Right? The game has grown from where it was when somebody picked up a soccer ball and started running with it, and a dude got pissed off and chased him down and tackled him, and that was the birth of football. I don't know if you knew that, Artur, right? Because I did a report on how football was started in the 7th grade. It's crazy. Here's the question. Will the fans actually boycott the Lions if they don't win the Super Bowl this year? Hell no, they won't. Listen, again, and this is the demand situation. You can't drop out of the race. You can't drop out of the race. The only thing that you can do is switch teams. And when you switch teams, it won't feel the same because you have no connection to the team. I have been made an honorary member of the Chiefs Kingdom because one of my friends is a former Chiefs player. I don't feel anything when the Chiefs win a Super Bowl. I don't feel excitement. I don't feel joy. It is an artificial connection. And that man played for the Chiefs. You can't drop out of the race. You can't pick another team. You have to be a soulless person to pick another team. And people go to the games because they like football. Word. Damn. And people buy jerseys because they like football. Word. Lord have mercy. This is also profound. Maybe our tour should be taking notes. LCA prices were cheaper than Ford Field and putting out a better product for the fans. You mean they cared about the product they put out for the fans? And people pay $600 to buy a Sunday ticket because they want all of the football. Goodness gracious. It's our tour. Are you picking up on this, Artur? Are you getting it? Just tuning in, but my question is, if Petsing runs 13 personnel, how does that fit all our skilled positions when we have 2 elite wide receivers and 1 promising? Well, we've been talking about that. We talked about that when they hired him. We don't know. He's going to have to adjust. He's going to have to adjust. And one of the reasons that we're upset about it is because the guy that was so excited about using Jameson Williams turned out he didn't know how to do that. So now we have to wait and see if this guy can adjust. If this guy can adjust to any of that. So anyway, guys, I gotta go. Who's that? Vito V the gang. Make sure you rewind, because this was explosive. This was explosive. And Artur, I don't know what you're saying. I'm not gonna read it. All right, I'll be back here tomorrow, y'all. Once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.